When you sleep tonight, you do not drift into emptiness. You drift into the fertile garden of the subconscious mind, where every seed planted takes root in the unseen soil of spirit. Wealth is not something you chase. Wealth is something you align with. It flows like a river, constant and abundant, and you are the open channel through which it passes. As you rest, your mind is no longer crowded by doubt, fear, or limitation. Instead, it becomes a clear sky, ready to receive the golden rain of divine supply. Each breath you take is a silent agreement with the universe. I am ready, I am worthy, I am abundant. In the stillness of night, you are not powerless, you are powerful beyond measure. The laws of prosperity never sleep. They are always at work, arranging circumstances, shifting situations, and moving unseen forces to fulfill your good. You need not struggle to make money appear. The law of attraction is not born of strain, but of certainty. Declare your wealth as already yours. See it, feel it, know it. When you awaken, it will feel less like a dream and more like your new reality. Tonight, as your body rests, let your soul work. Let your inner vision dwell only on plenty. For the rich harvest you seek is already growing. And by morning light, you will rise in a world subtly, yet powerfully, rearranged in your favor. Sleep in peace, wake in prosperity. Wealth is a state of alignment, not pursuit. To pursue wealth is to run after something as though it is separate from you, as though it lives far away and must be captured through endless struggle. But true wealth is not something outside. It is a reflection of what already exists within. When a person aligns their thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and actions with abundance, wealth flows naturally without strain. It becomes less of a chase and more of an unfolding, like a flower opening in its own time, drawn effortlessly toward the light. The mistake many make is believing wealth is hard, distant, or reserved for a select few. This belief itself creates misalignment. When you say to yourself, "It is difficult to become wealthy," you push wealth further away. You build a wall of resistance, making abundance seem unreachable. Yet when you declare, "Wealth belongs to me because I live in a universe of infinite supply," you step into harmony with the natural current of prosperity. That declaration creates alignment, and in alignment, wealth does not need to be pursued. It arrives. Alignment means agreement with truth. The truth is that the universe is abundant, overflowing, and never lacking. Look around, rivers flow, trees bear fruit, the earth produces harvest after harvest. There is no shortage in nature, only continuous circulation. When you align with this truth, you see wealth as part of the same law of circulation. Money, opportunities, and resources move as freely as the wind or water, and by being in alignment, you allow them to move toward you without obstruction. Pursuit, on the other hand, often carries the energy of lack. To chase something is to admit you do not yet have it. Alignment is the opposite. It is the inner knowing that you already stand in the flow of abundance, and by standing firm, all good is drawn to you. Consider the sun. It does not chase after flowers to bloom. It simply shines, and by shining, it aligns everything in its reach to unfold in its presence. Wealth works the same way. You do not have to chase after it desperately. Instead, you allow it to come into your life by radiating thoughts, feelings, and actions that correspond to abundance. Gratitude, confidence, faith, and clarity are the inner lights that draw wealth as naturally as sunlight draws life from the soil. When your inner world is filled with fear, doubt, or desperation, you are out of alignment and wealth feels scarce. But when you quiet the noise of worry and choose to live from a place of assurance, wealth begins to appear in forms both expected and unexpected. It may come through opportunities, connections, ideas, or even sudden doors opening where none seemed to exist. This is not coincidence. It is the law of alignment at work. The wealthy person is not necessarily the one who chases hardest, but the one who believes most deeply. Belief is alignment. To say, I know wealth is mine, and to feel the truth of it is to bring yourself into resonance with abundance. Just as a tuning fork vibrates and draws out the same note in another instrument, your belief vibrates and draws out matching experiences in the world. The frequency you hold inside is the wealth you see outside. Chasing creates exhaustion. Alignment creates ease. Chasing says, I am separate from my good. Alignment says, I am one with it. And in that oneness, wealth flows freely, effortlessly, and continuously. The one who aligns does not fear loss, for wealth is not just money but an endless state of supply. It is always replenished, always returning, always available. To live in this truth is to live beyond pursuit, standing firmly in the radiant flow of abundance that is already yours. The subconscious mind is fertile ground, and whatever seed is planted there must grow. It does not question, it does not argue, it does not discriminate between a seed of fear or a seed of faith. It simply accepts and brings it into form. Like soil receiving a seed, the subconscious mind receives impressions and ideas, and once received, it nurtures them until they become visible results in life. This is why one who understands the power of the subconscious can shape destiny with intention rather than by accident. When we fill the subconscious with images of lack, worry, and defeat, we unknowingly plant weeds that choke out the harvest of abundance we long for. The soil does not resist these weeds. It simply does what it is designed to do, to grow what is planted. Many people live lives filled with struggle because they have sown seeds of doubt over and over, and the subconscious has brought them a harvest in kind. Yet the moment one begins to sow seeds of prosperity, health, confidence, and peace, the subconscious receives them just the same and begins to cultivate a very different outcome. The power of the subconscious is silent but unstoppable. It works whether you are aware of it or not, whether you are awake or asleep. Every repeated thought, every word spoken with emotion, every image held strongly in the imagination becomes a seed that drops into the fertile ground of the inner mind. Over time, those seeds develop roots, take shape, and emerge into the outer world as circumstances, opportunities, and experiences. Life, in truth, is always mirroring the seeds we have sown within. Because of this, it is not enough to wish for a better life on the surface while allowing the subconscious to be saturated with fear and limitation. The inner and outer must agree. To align with abundance, one must deliberately sow seeds of abundance in thought, word, and vision. This is why affirmations, visualizations, and meditations are powerful tools, not because of their surface repetition, but because they impress the subconscious mind. And once impressed, the subconscious continues the work long after conscious attention has shifted elsewhere. Think of a gardener who carefully chooses seeds for a harvest. If they desire roses, they plant roses, not thorns. If they long for golden wheat, they do not scatter stones. So too must we be intentional about what we allow into the deep soil of our minds. Words of fear, spoken often, are seeds. Images of failure, replayed daily, are seeds. But so also are words of faith, gratitude, and expectation of good. When spoken and felt sincerely, these two take root and grow into conditions that reflect their nature. The subconscious mind does not sleep. Even when the body rests, the soil of the mind is alive with activity, nurturing the seeds that have been planted during waking hours. This is why sleep, when accompanied by positive affirmations or visions, becomes a time of powerful creation. The seeds dropped into the subconscious at night are watered in silence and prepared for manifestation by day. Dreams often reveal the process, giving glimpses of the hidden work taking place beneath the surface of consciousness. Those who master this principle understand that to change the harvest of life, they must first change the seeds. They do not fight outer conditions, for they know outer conditions are only fruits of inner planting. Instead, they turn inward and consciously plant ideas of wealth, joy, peace, and victory. With patience, they wait, trusting the silent law of growth, for no seed can be planted in fertile ground without eventually producing after its kind. The subconscious mind is a sacred field, always ready, always willing, always capable of growth. The question is not whether it will produce, but what it will produce based on what has been sown. The wise one chooses carefully, plants deliberately, and trusts fully in the unseen process, knowing that the harvest is certain and abundance inevitable when the right seeds are nurtured within. Prosperity operates continuously, like the ceaseless flow of a river, like the steady rise of the sun, like the heartbeat that sustains life without pause. It is not a momentary event, not a random blessing, not something that comes and goes at the whim of chance. Prosperity is law, eternal and unfailing, woven into the fabric of creation. The universe itself is abundance in motion. Stars are born, galaxies expand, oceans rise and fall, seasons shift and return, trees blossom and bear fruit again and again. This rhythm of endless provision reveals the truth that prosperity is not occasional, it is perpetual. Those who believe prosperity is fleeting or uncertain have stepped out of harmony with its eternal current. To say wealth can vanish or good can run dry is to misunderstand the source. Prosperity does not depend on the limited storehouses of human supply. It springs from the infinite. It is as boundless as thought, as limitless as imagination, as infinite as spirit. Just as air does not stop because one breath is taken, prosperity does not cease because one blessing has been received. There is always more, always unfolding, always becoming. Human doubt often interrupts the flow, not because prosperity has ended, but because belief has shut the door. Imagine a window closed tightly against the breeze. The wind continues to move outside, but the air within the room grows stagnant. So it is with prosperity. It never stops flowing, yet one can close themselves off through fear, scarcity, thinking, or unworthiness. But the moment the window of consciousness opens again through faith, gratitude, and acceptance, the breeze of abundance flows freely once more. The law was never broken, only the awareness of it was blocked. To live in harmony with this principle is to understand that prosperity is not earned by toil alone, nor is it withheld by fate. It operates whether one believes or not, just as gravity holds its place whether acknowledged or ignored. The wise person learns to align with this law, to rest in the certainty that good is always in motion, that wealth is always circulating, that opportunities are always presenting themselves. In this certainty, fear dissolves, for there is no lack in a universe governed by continuous prosperity. Nature itself testifies to this truth. The earth never ceases to produce. Even in winter's stillness, beneath the frozen ground, life stirs, waiting for its season to emerge. Rivers may twist and turn, yet they do not stop their journey to the sea. The sun may set, but it is always rising somewhere else in the world. Prosperity is like this, endless in its cycle, never halted, always present, whether seen or unseen in the moment. When a person aligns their thoughts with this truth, they stop worrying about when or how prosperity will appear. They know it is already moving toward them, already seeking expression through them. They no longer strain to create abundance, for they realize abundance already exists, awaiting their recognition and reception. Their role is not to force prosperity into being, but to stay open to its continuous flow, like a vessel ready to be filled. To doubt prosperity is to resist what is already guaranteed. To believe in prosperity is to step into its current and be carried effortlessly forward. This is why gratitude is so powerful. It acknowledges the flow and multiplies it. Gratitude says, I see the stream of good that is already here. And by seeing it, one opens wider to receive more. Fear says, there is not enough. And in that blindness, one feels cut off from the stream that never stopped flowing. Prosperity is as eternal as life itself, a movement without beginning or end. It does not rest, it does not delay, it does not falter. It operates continuously, offering supply to every soul who will align with it, trust it, and allow it. And when one truly knows this, lack disappears like a shadow before the rising sun, for they have discovered that abundance has been surrounding them all along, flowing without end, waiting only for recognition to manifest fully in their world. Certainty, not struggle, attracts money. Struggle belongs to the realm of fear, where one believes that wealth is scarce, difficult, and must be chased through endless effort. Certainty belongs to the realm of faith, where one knows without question that abundance is natural, constant, and already flowing toward them. The vibration of certainty opens doors that struggle can never reach. When the mind is certain, it is calm, receptive, and magnetic. When the mind is struggling, it is tense, resistant, and repelling. The difference is not in how hard one works, but in the spirit with which one aligns. Money responds not to desperation, but to conviction. When a person acts from certainty, every step they take carries authority. They do not beg opportunities to appear, they expect them. They do not wonder if supply will arrive, they know it must. This knowing becomes a silent command that calls wealth into form. Struggle, on the other hand, sends out a signal of lack. It says, I do not have enough. I must fight to survive. I must grasp at what little there is. The subconscious hears this declaration and brings forth more of the same. Life reflects the struggle by producing more struggle, yet when certainty is spoken, the subconscious accepts it as law and begins arranging circumstances to match. The universe moves in response to belief. Belief is the key that unlocks the storehouse of supply. Struggle may bring temporary results, but it drains the soul and often collapses under its own weight. Certainty brings lasting results, for it is rooted in truth. To know something is yours is to claim it with quiet strength, without the need for strain. Just as a farmer plants seeds with the certainty that the harvest will come, so too must one approach wealth with the calm expectation that it will grow and manifest in its season. The farmer does not dig up the soil each day in panic, wondering if the seed will sprout. They trust the process. Likewise, certainty trusts the process of prosperity. Struggle is often born from the belief that supply is outside of us, controlled by forces beyond our reach. Certainty understands that wealth begins within, that the seed of abundance is already planted in consciousness. To struggle is to wrestle with shadows, chasing an outer effect while neglecting the inner cause. To be certain is to hold the cause firmly in thought and let the outer effect follow in its own time. Money does not resist the one who is certain, for certainty radiates confidence, and confidence draws opportunities, resources, and connections like iron to a magnet. When you look at those who prosper with ease, you find not that they have struggled harder, but that they have believed deeper. Their actions flow from faith, not desperation. They act as if wealth is inevitable, and life rewards them with evidence of that faith. Others may work themselves weary in endless struggle, but if their inner belief is filled with doubt, their outer world reflects lack. The difference is invisible yet powerful. One holds certainty, the other does not. Certainty speaks in quiet declarations. I am provided for. Money flows to me easily. Opportunities seek me. I prosper in all that I do. Struggle speaks in restless complaints. It is too hard. There is never enough. I must fight to make ends meet. Both voices plant seeds in the subconscious, and both seeds grow according to their nature. Certainty grows wealth. Struggle grows more struggle. The energy of certainty is magnetic. It draws money without strain, for money follows confidence, clarity, and faith. Struggle pushes money away, for money avoids desperation, fear, and resistance. To embody certainty is to know wealth as your divine right, your natural state, your inevitable inheritance. To embody struggle is to see wealth as an enemy to be conquered, a prize to be wrestled away. One creates ease, the other exhaustion. When you choose certainty, you step into the effortless current of prosperity. You no longer need to chase money, for money begins to chase you. You no longer beg for supply appears as if drawn by an invisible hand. You no longer exhaust yourself in endless struggle, for your quiet conviction becomes the magnet that pulls wealth into your life. Certainty, not struggle, attracts money always, unfailingly, and without exception. Night is a sacred time for creation, a holy space where the noise of the world softens, the body rests, and the soul whispers truths that daylight often drowns. In the quiet hours, when the conscious mind loosens its grip, the subconscious becomes most receptive. This is the hour when thoughts, words, and images slip beneath the surface and settle deep into the soil of the inner self, ready to grow into form. The darkness of night is not emptiness. It is the womb of manifestation, where unseen forces arrange themselves to give birth to visible results. During the day, the mind is busy planning, worrying, analyzing, and reasoning. These constant motions often resist the flow of abundance because they stir up doubt and distraction. But in the night, as the conscious mind surrenders, the doors of the subconscious swing wide open. This is why the last thoughts before sleep are so powerful. They do not vanish into the void. They drop directly into the fertile ground of the subconscious and begin their silent work. To fill the mind with gratitude, faith, and images of prosperity before sleep is to plant seeds that will grow strong while the body rests. Night is sacred because it allows alignment without effort. One does not need to push, force, or struggle. The natural rhythm of sleep carries the soul inward, where the creative laws operate with purity and precision. Just as the earth regenerates under the cover of night, the spirit regenerates too. Ideas are nourished in silence, solutions form in stillness, and abundance begins to take shape in ways unseen. When one enters sleep with conscious intention, the night becomes more than rest, it becomes co-creation with the infinite. The ancients understood this mystery. They treated dreams as divine messages, knowing that the veil between seen and unseen is thinnest at night. In those quiet hours, imagination takes the lead, free from the barriers of logic. What you imagine before sleep has power because the subconscious does not argue with it. It accepts it as fact and works tirelessly to bring it forth. If you fill your nights with visions of wealth, health, and success, your inner world begins arranging itself toward that end, and the outer world follows in time. Night is sacred because it teaches surrender. It is not through constant effort that creation takes place, but through letting go. You do not tell your heart to keep beating while you sleep, yet it does. You do not command your lungs to breathe, yet they continue. In the same way, you do not need to force manifestation, you need only to allow. Sleep itself is a reminder that creation often happens in the unseen without conscious control. To trust this truth is to rest not only the body, but also the spirit, in the knowledge that your good is being prepared for you even as you dream. The stars above, the stillness of the earth, the rhythm of nightfall all testify that creation never ceases, even in the dark. The farmer knows that seeds planted beneath the soil grow strongest when hidden from sight. Likewise, the desires you plant in the subconscious during the sacred hours of night grow roots that reach deeper than waking effort can achieve. By the time morning comes, creation has already begun, though the results may not yet be visible. To honor the night as sacred is to approach it with reverence. It is not a time for filling the mind with fear or worry, for these too will be planted and grown. It is a time to release, to affirm, to visualize, to give thanks, and then to rest in quiet certainty. For in the silence of night, creation stirs, unseen but unstoppable, weaving together the threads of a new reality that will reveal itself when the dawn arrives. Awakening to a shifted reality is one of the most profound experiences a soul can have. It is the moment you open your eyes and sense that something has changed, though the room may look the same, the air may feel the same, and the day may begin as usual. Yet beneath the familiar surface, an unseen transformation has taken place. The inner work you planted in the silence of thought, prayer, and imagination has moved into form, rearranging circumstances, guiding events, and opening doors you could not have forced open by effort alone. Life appears altered not because the world has changed on its own, but because you have changed, and the world is simply reflecting the new pattern of your consciousness. Reality shifts first in the inner realm. A thought consistently held, a belief firmly claimed, an image deeply impressed upon the subconscious begins to reconfigure the outer world to match it. You may not notice the movement at once, for much of it happens invisibly, like roots spreading beneath the soil. But when you awaken, suddenly you see signs everywhere: the unexpected opportunity, the chance meeting, the inspired idea, the sudden clarity. These are not accidents. They are the first fruits of the shift that began in thought. Awakening to a shifted reality means recognizing that what you once hoped for has begun to take substance in ways too exact to be coincidence. It is often subtle. A phone call comes at the right moment. An obstacle dissolves without explanation. A person who once ignored you now sees your value. Even the atmosphere within feels lighter, as though possibilities surround you where walls once stood. The external shift may be small, but it carries with it the certainty that greater changes are on the horizon. This is because reality, like a mirror, reflects whatever image is presented to it. When the inner picture changes, the mirror of life cannot help but adjust. Awakening to a shifted reality also brings a sense of awe, for it reveals the truth that you are not powerless in shaping your life. You come to understand that what you once considered immovable can be altered by aligning with the laws of creation. Struggle gives way to trust. Desperation gives way to calm expectancy. You realize you do not have to fight to change the world around you. You need only to shift the world within. And once the inner shift is complete, the outer must follow as day follows night. There is a sacred joy in this awakening. It carries a feeling of recognition, as if you have stepped into a version of yourself you always knew existed but had not yet claimed. The people you meet, the places you go, the results you attract feel different because you are now resonating with a higher vibration. Money begins to flow with greater ease. Opportunities appear that align perfectly with your gifts. Relationships reflect respect and harmony. This is not because the universe suddenly favored you. It is because you finally aligned with the truth that was waiting to be revealed. Awakening to a shifted reality is also a call to remain steady. Once the shift is seen, it must be nurtured, not doubted. The temptation may come to question, to wonder if the change is temporary, to slip back into old patterns of thought. But if you hold firm, if you continue to affirm the new reality with certainty, the shift deepens and expands. What began as a subtle difference grows into a complete transformation. The seed of prosperity matures into a harvest, and the life once imagined becomes the life lived. To awaken in this way is to witness the power of unseen forces at work, moving on your behalf while you rested, while you trusted, while you allowed. It is to understand that every intention planted, every affirmation spoken, every vision held with faith has weight and substance in the invisible realm. And when the appointed time comes, that invisible substance condenses into visible form, and you awaken to find yourself standing in a reality that feels both miraculous and inevitable. So tonight, as you lay your head upon the pillow, release every worry, every fear, and every doubt. Let them dissolve into nothingness, for they hold no power over the abundance that is already flowing to you. Step into your sleep as one who knows, not one who begs. Breathe deeply and feel the current of wealth energy surrounding you, moving through you, and preparing to manifest all that you desire. Remember this truth. Wealth is not a stranger you must chase. It is the faithful companion of your certainty. As you sleep, your subconscious mind becomes the garden of creation, and the seeds you have planted tonight will take root, grow, and bear fruit in perfect time. The laws of prosperity never rest, and while your body restores itself in sleep, those laws are at work, arranging, unfolding, and aligning your life with overflow. When the morning comes, rise not as you were, but as one who has shifted. Rise with gratitude, rise with expectation, rise with the knowing that you are wealthy, that you are worthy, and that you are ready to receive. For prosperity is already yours, and from this night forward, money flows to you freely, effortlessly, and abundantly. Sleep in peace, awaken in power, and live in prosperity.